Hello, welcome to my channel, The Ascension Guide. I'm your guide, Joe Martin. So it's been a little while since I put a video out. I have been tucked away in my cave, if you want to say that. Really been finishing this book that I'm working on. All of the collected messages from Ariah from all the different channeling sessions. In the editing process now, just finished all the typing and stuff, so I've been really kind of tucked away doing that, trying to focus, but definitely obviously other stuff going on. As some of you saw, had a awesome other channeler on the other day, Sam, the illusionist, awesome guest. And so this morning I was watching his channel, as I do most of the time, and he channeled about the DUMBs, the deep underground military bases, which I thought was really cool because I've channeled about this back in, what was it, on August 3rd, my August 3rd channeling session I did. I also channeled about these DUMBs, but I wasn't really ready to release that information yet. I guess I was kind of still a little hesitant, especially with a lot of the conspiracy sided stuff or things that, it's not exactly the most common topics or uplifting things to talk about, but I do think it's important. And as I was watching Sam's video this morning, I'll put the link in the comments to that video too, so you can check it out. But we channeled very, very similar information about these underground bases. So I figured, well, I didn't figure. Ariah told me, well, I guess since the word's out, we might as well put out our version as well so that people can hear what I channeled as well. So essentially these military bases, deep underground military bases, that's what DUMBs stand for, D-U-M-B-S, are these network of tunnels. They're under the Vatican City, they're under Washington, D.C., they run all over the world, through the ocean, all these different places. Some of them, excuse me, are controlled, we wouldn't say controlled, accessed by aliens. The Greys. The Greys, there are a bunch of different versions of the Greys. And one of the versions are basically just like a clone, essentially. So, as some of you may know, there was a quarantine placed around Earth. I'm not exactly sure when it was, but anyway, that doesn't allow basically any more negative incarnation on this planet through this ascension process. No more outside interference as much as possible. So what the negatives did is they created these clones, which can be controlled remotely from either the moon or Mars, or their ships that are in the atmosphere or whatever. But it's technically not an infringement of the rules because it's remote communication and it's using someone's, it's very complicated. I'm sure somewhere along the ways they're breaking the rules in some way, but they don't care about the rules, so it doesn't matter to them. But anyway, in these DUMBs, this is where a lot of DNA experimentation takes place, cloning, MK Ultra, if you guys are familiar. And then there's the child trafficking part of all of this, which I don't really like talking about, but it's important. These, the darkness, we'll call them for now. Some of you know them as reptilian, however you want to look at them. They feed on what's called adrenochrome. There's two different types of feeding. The more energetic reptilians feed on what's called loosh, which is an energetic, basically any time that we produce emotions below the fear state, anything below that, any lower emotions, that's like food to them, essentially. It's a food source, which now makes sense why the media is the way they are and the way that they constantly spread fear and try to keep everybody in that low vibratory state. They're essentially ensuring the food supply. And then the other part of that is the more human aspect is the adrenochrome, which adrenochrome is produced in your pineal gland whenever you are frightened. And from what I've channeled, and I've heard other people talk about it too, it basically gives these people this unparalleled high. It's sort of like a vitality thing and a like youthful, kind of keeps them more youthful in a way, I suppose. But like you've seen maybe these clubs, you've seen some of these elites wearing like red shoes. They call them like the Red Shoe Club or something to that effect. And last I had channeled, I don't know if the Pope is still there or not, but he was one of the leaders of this whole thing. So these tunnels run all throughout the, underneath the Vatican City. And then, also, and on top of that, with these tunnels, is that's under the Vatican City. That's where a lot of the stuff that was in the Bible was omitted. Things that kind of basically what we're trying to get out now, that you don't need the church to communicate with the other side, that you don't have to have this middleman who tells you how to do these things. And they distorted the original messages that basically when you hear a lot of these channelers, we're all saying the same thing. It's this universal law of love and one, and we're all one. We're all here to do our own thing. We're not here to be controlled. It's about freedom. It's about figuring out for yourself. Like that's what the Bible was originally supposed to be, and it was hijacked by the negative entities because they saw what the essentially the positive side of things could do and how it could essentially ruin them if they didn't have any reason, any need, I should say. So they hijacked the whole religion thing, made it so that it was this fear-based, I'm getting a little sidetracked here, but anyway, it's all kind of related, that they were able to control through that. So in these tunnels underground in the Vatican City is where a lot of these manuscripts and transcripts and different things of the real true meaning of what the Bible was supposed to be were omitted and kept down there. Just our divinity, our power. I mean, we look at the human body and how it can heal itself when you give it that belief, and when you do all these different things and the things that we're unlocking, the abilities, they wanted to suppress all those things. It's easier to control. So those are under there. And then, like I said, there's the DNA manipulation, the cloning, and all those different things going on. So I know this is a lot of heavy stuff for a lot of you. I'm sure probably haven't heard about a lot of this. And if you have, I guess good for you. I don't know. This isn't really a great thing or a good thing or a bad thing, but just kind of an enlightenment. Back when, what was it, a month or two ago? Maybe it was in July, I don't know. Sometime over the summer, I believe, there was a ship that got stuck in the Suez Canal. And the whole reason that, I don't know if you guys know the story or whatever, but they went and drew like a dick in the radar in the ocean. And everybody thought it was like this joke or practical joke or whatever, but essentially what it was is that freighter, that ship, was on all those containers, there was children that were being shipped to the elite, and it was, they're called the White Hats intervention, that tried to draw the attention through drawing the dick in the ocean through the radar, and then getting the ship stuck. They were trying to get more attention, and then eventually the idea was for people to discover all these children on this ship, but they were able to get the ship free before that was able to happen. And then on top of that, when you have the media control like they do, it's such an advantage, for them as far as the way the information flows. So all right, I think that's enough about this topic today. If you guys have any questions or would like some further clarification, and definitely go watch Sam's video. He's got a lot of the same information as I have, but I thought mine was a little bit more specific. So I just wanted to share that, and I know that it's, it was validating to me. I was sitting there, as soon as he talked about the dumbs this morning, I was like, oh, I can't wait to hear what this says, if this is the same information that I channeled. And it was, and I was like, okay, cool, I think it's time, got the message to share this with you guys today so that we can, let everybody know what's going on. It's the awakening right now. This is the whole process. So share this video. Please like it. If you're not a subscriber already, I would definitely appreciate if this message resonates with you, if you would. So thanks everybody. Till the next video. Love and light.